While we're waiting for this to happen, if you have any questions for Sam, we could do that very quickly. Neil? Excuse me.
Sam, there are plenty of things people do that don't make sense, but of course they're otherwise harmless to others, and might be mildly harmless to the person who thinks it or believes it, but no one makes a big deal of it. If the religious community, instead of going away, morphed into a systems of philosophy that made no attempt to say things about the physical world that are easily verifiable by the methods and tools of science and rational inquiry. And they only simply talked about, how to treat your neighbor, how to, maybe give you someplace to think you might be when you're dead. What's the harm in that? If we're going to try to be realistic about how effective any such movement that you want to support can be, either you're going to say one day there are going to be no religions in the world, or one day there's a profile of the various religions that have changed to the point where they don't trigger anybody's reaction, anyone such as your reaction.
Right. Well, I'm just not hopeful that they can change. They can be so chaste in their proclamations about reality so as not to conflict with those of us who are trying to speak sensibly about reality and to shape public policy that's based on sensible conversation. So, for instance, what do you do when you find out that your neighbor's religion has proscribed drawing a caricature of a certain historical figure and has prescribed it in such terms that you can get 100,000 people in the town square calling for the deaths of newspaper editors and cartoonists for drawing, for publishing pictures of the Prophet Muhammad? It seems to me that really is a deal breaker. I mean, this is just free speech and rational understandings of civil society just have to win. It's just there's no accommodation with that. What was so scandalous about that episode is that we really caved in. I mean, we practiced self-censorship. We chastised Denmark for publishing those cartoons, and New York Times wrote editorials, about it. And we're not recognizing the bigger picture here, which is this is an eruption of medievalism that is sanctioned by the fastest growing religion in the world. And here again, I'm focusing on Islam almost randomly. I mean, I'm worried about religion in totality, but you have to get, if you're going to dignify the claim that one of our books is not just a book, but is in some sense an infallible document, you are, it seems to me, always going to be held hostage to the contents of the book. And it just so happens that these books are engines of intolerance. I mean, 100 years from now, someone can pick up the Quran or the Bible and find reasons to be every bit as obnoxious as Ted Haggard or worse, and those reasons are continually refreshing themselves. So unless we undercut this notion that the Bible and the Quran are not at all like the plays of Shakespeare, I don't think the problem can go away.
Yeah, I'm going to have to be an engine of intolerance because I'm hostage to time. So.